What do you do when the Lord takes you from homelessness to walking into the path of your destiny?
La 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 la.
You walk forward with humility, grace, and determination. Welcome to Judas Sword Talk Show with your host, S.J. Harnsberry. It's time for your ascent.
I was so bad. My behavior was so bad, and it was getting worse and worse each year. My grades were staying up, but my behavior was getting worse and worse each year. And by the time I got to high school, I had gave up. After my brother got murdered, I gave up.
We are Manny.
Yeah, I just, after that point, it didn't matter. So before that, I was still going every year to the college, and my grades were up, and I was having a good time. And once my brother got murdered, I pretty much gave up on all of it.
Now,
And
this was your actual brother, or was this, because I kind of felt like that was your first cousin or something.
yeah, I didn't know. So our family was so, I didn't know that Manny was my cousin until after my mom married my stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, it was just my mother, my grandmother, and us all in one home, and they never explained it. And so for me, they were my brothers and sisters, but they were really my cousins. And my stepfather kicked them out when he married my mom, and that's when I found out.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about the stepdad. We're gonna talk about, because we have to put it in perspective. You weren't just this bad kid to be necessarily a bad kid.
Right.
The sense that I got from the book and just reading about your background was you guys didn't have a lot, but before your stepfather came in, you were really kind of enjoying, family.
Yes.
You guys were close and everything and stuff. But all of that changed when the stepfather came in. So kind of, let's talk about it just a little bit to put some perspective on people, because I want them to give the full picture of where you came from.
Yes. My stepfather, well, first off, my stepfather was in prison before he met my mom for about 30 years. So, and he was in prison for murder. And he had murdered his wife. His wife had some infidelity with him, and he murdered her and had to go to prison. And when he got out of prison, my mother married him. She didn't know him, but she married him. And I don't think she knew his background either. She married him. And my mom is really deep Pentecostal religion too. So once you marry someone, you really don't get out of marrying them. You married, and it's pretty much for good. And he was really the reason why a lot of things took place. I wouldn't say he's the reason why my grandmother died, but he did cut me off from her during the time when she was beginning to be sick. It made me feel like she went way earlier than what she would have. Once I got separated from being with her, and it was pretty tough, but he was very abusive, and not regular abuse that would come from where most people can explain it, like from alcohol or drug use. But it was alcohol-free, drug-free, also in the church Pentecostal, and he was just really, really abusive to the point where I felt he was trying to kill me. And eventually he did try to kill me later.
Yeah, I remember in the book where he actually stabbed you.
Yes.
In one is so obviously coming from this whole background, very angry, very disappointed. There was probably a whole lot of baggage that you
Yes.
had behind you. What was the turning point for you? Where was it, the military, when you joined the military? What was the turning point where you really kind of saw the light of day, maybe, or even started thinking forward, kind of
Yeah.
going forward thinking?
Actually, it started with, so Manny's death threw me in a Great Depression. But also after that depression, when I lost the scholarship, it was like the depression I had, and I lost the scholarship. It was all so much, and then but then at the same, revelation would be, but you're still here. Mm-hmm. You're still here. Manny has died. You lost the scholarship, so you don't believe that you're going to be able to do anything else in life, but you're still here. And then I did join the military, and that experience in joining that, I didn't have a real reason for joining like most people that go in. I just joined because I really didn't have anything else to do. Right. But it wasn't as difficult for me in there as it was for a lot of people. And that's when I realized that I could probably do a lot more at that point.
Because there's a point in this book, your drill sergeant Moreland.
Yes.
And he asked you this question. It's like you guys have this inspection, and the inspection goes horribly wrong.
Yes.
And it's like the worst thing, because I was military. I actually went into the military. I was in the military for 8 years.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
The barracks, and then having the inspection, and they're looking at everything, and your bed has to be tightened, the quarter, drop it on there, with all this other crazy stuff.
Yes.
But yet, in this inspection, everything goes wrong. Things are just like not nowhere near what it's supposed to be. Yeah. And you're thinking, oh crap, we're about to be in some deep something. Yes. And you go into this office, and they are cracking up. Yes. They just like leave out of it, and they're cracking up. So, and it's like this question is like he asks you. He says, "Why are you here?" or something. Yes. And then it goes to a different chapter. I'm like, wait, hold on, rewind this, rewind this. What happened?
What the funny thing about Moreland was so big, and coincidentally, he was also from, and this just happens, you don't never know really why you end up meeting people. Right. But he was from a city that was only like 15 minutes from Youngstown.
Wow. Okay.
And so he knew about Youngstown. He knew all about it. Okay. And he used to tease me all the time, saying Youngstown was too tough of a city for me to be from. And and what ended up happening, he was so big and so intimidating. But after that inspection, and I actually accidentally walked in on him and the lieutenant in that room. And he did say, why am I there? Because the whole time I was there, I was always laughing and joking. But he actually knew that I didn't have a real reason for being there. Like other people had to be there. Right. And there was plenty of things we would do, things like singing and strategic things. And he knew I would never be trying. He knew I would never try to do any of the things that we were put the task for. Uh-huh. And it all came easy for me. And I never cared, but I could always do it. And he caught that. And that's why he asked me why I was even there at all. Because I could be doing so much more somewhere else, and that kind of like, it spoke to me too, that eventually I'm gonna have to do something that I'm supposed to be doing, and not really messing around, taking it easy, and what I was doing at the time.
Because here's the sense that I get. Your grandmother, she challenged you. She really challenged you. She challenged the depth of who you were as a child, and she really planted some seeds in you to push forward, even with obstacles, and even when you lose. So there was some planning and some pruning there with that. Manny challenged you because he, his challenge to you was, don't die, or don't be like me, or don't be like the rest of the people here. And
That's right.
so you got all of these different challenges. Then you have Moreland. So you have some of these people that are in your life that are really, really challenging you
Yep.
to do great. So what was that turn? Where was that turn? Because now here you are today. And I want people to understand one of the reasons why we're doing this interview. Today, you are like the VP of a multi-billion dollar, probably, I think, corporation. Yep. So I'm like, where did this jump? How did you go from there to where you are now? Like,
yeah. I think they all play parts. I think things build up slowly sometimes, and then there's these different places that you are in different times in your life, and they matter. And you add that to the bag, and you add something else to the bag, and before you know it, you actually have something that you've become over a period of time that can actually do something. I wanted to do something, and I wanted to do something that was good enough to help a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to do that. But there was a point where I just didn't think I was going to be even around to be able to do it. But I think when I put the pieces in those challenges together, my grandmother did challenge me a lot. Manny used to tell me all the time, because he was pretty talented too, but he would always push me away from what he was doing. Mm-hmm. To say, you have to be and do something else. And he was like that. And Moreland did the same thing. And but I think the biggest turn was between my stepfather trying to kill me and then me coincidentally almost being killed in that shooting.
Yes.
That was the big turn.
All right, so let's talk about that. And, because we got a few more minutes before we have to close this thing out. So let's talk about that real quick. So you're getting ready. It's like your last day on leave. You're out, you're actually on leave. And I think you go to visit your hometown, and the phone is dead. You can't.
That's right.
The phone. And so now you're like, you really know you should be staying home because you're going to leave the next day and you're not coming back, and at least not for a while, as far as your mind goes. And you head out. And so this incident takes place. So kind of walk us through it just a little bit. Tell us a little bit about it, and let's talk about it.
I should have stayed home. I should have stayed home. Actually, I should have went when my mother went to a convention out of town, a church convention, and I should have went with her to that convention. But I didn't, and this is at a time where the cell phones aren't around. Right. So you could make a phone call, or you could make a phone call on a payphone. But and it was really late, and I went anyway, and the phone's dead at the home, and I went to the payphone, and somebody tried to rob me at the payphone, and they shot me 4 times. One in shot in my leg and my neck, and shot in my spine, and I got shot in my hand. And it was that. I was down. I was paralyzed from the waist down for about a year. That transformation there, because that was the lowest point. Each time I thought I was at my lowest point, I thought I was at the lowest point when my mom married my stepfather. And I thought I was at my lowest point when Manny died. And I thought I was at my lowest point when I lost my scholarship. And then this time when I got shot, I thought I was at my lowest point there. And I mean, it was pretty low. But the turnaround was when I actually got to walk again. That was like the turn, the twist, and changed my everything for me.
Okay, because what I want to do, I got it, the incident, and I'm not going to read everything because there's some language in here. So people read the book. Please know there is some language. This is not a Christian book, okay? Not a Christian book, okay? No. So, but there's a part in here that I read, and it just kind of blew me out of the water. And this is really kind of going back to the it's going back to the checkerboards, because you at one point you even learned chess.
Yes.
And everything stuff. And so you're at this place and you're thinking, I can't do this anymore. This is on page well, I don't know what page this is, but it's like towards the end of that chapter. He said, I can't do this anymore. I just don't want to. I've tried, but ever since you left, my entire life has been one losing fight. Because you start to hear her voice.
Yes.
And And then you're like, I don't have the strength to try anymore. I'm ready to go. And then, but she's talking to you and she's like, she's telling you, she said, I can hear those nasty thoughts, those negative, nasty thoughts of yours. You may be ready to go, but the world is not ready for you to leave yet. There's so many people that you're going to help you haven't even met. There'll be millions and millions of them. He said, millions and millions of them. Did I lose my place? There'll be millions of them that you'll touch and influence in imaginable ways. You don't think that all of this suffering you had to endure was for naught. Oh, silly boy, you don't have you do think, boy, do you think that let me see what, oh, silly boy, you do think that, don't you? You have suffered mentally, physically, and emotionally your entire life to prepare you to be worthy.
Yeah.
And I was reading this, and even that one part, like a little bit before that, she goes, you have set up the pieces. You bring this board out here and you set up the pieces.
Yes.
And that to me was like this really, really profound statement, because here it is, because at this point, you're not really in the church per se, like at that point, right? You're not really church going.
I had gave up on the church when I joined the military because we wasn't allowed to go. Right. So once I joined the military, it was like I had gave up on that part of my life too. Right. And the part that you're reading is a part where I know I was dying. I know I was dying. And it was, I've never, I've watched this before. I've heard this before. People talk about it. I've also seen it in different films. But there's a point where and what happened to me, I was very, very close to going. Mm-hmm. And I know I was very close to going. And everything was flashing. And it, in the movies, they say, you see your life flashing before your eyes. Mm-hmm. All of it, I saw. All of it. I saw the path. I saw my grandmother, everything that I had went through. And it was like a film, just flipping through the film. But it was in a matter of just moments, just flipping mm-hmm. through it in a minute. And it was about to end. I know it was about to end because I was too tired. Mm-hmm. I was done at that point. And she came. And she told me that, she told me exactly that. And she did it the way that she always would do it before, which was make me upset with what she's saying because she's trying to get to my ego, and she did it. And she said, it's not over. You don't even know how much you have left to do. You don't just give up. You play the game and you play it the way you want to play it, because you can win it that way if you just set it up the right way.
Wow. Because I'm gonna tell you what I was getting from that. As I was reading that, I believe that was like an angel or the Holy Spirit. I really believe that was the voice of the Lord or the Holy Spirit or the angel that just knew, your path, knew the voice of your grandmother, and was speaking that to you to give you the will to live, because you were able to get up from there, go back, and then eventually found you and got you to the hospital. But I think what was so profound, the propheticness of it, was the fact of what she said. She said, you brought the board out, or you put the pieces on the board. You actually had set up the board. And I think sometimes it's really important for us to understand, even in this life, we set up the life pieces that we have on the board, whether it's checkers or chess. Yeah, we set it up. And it's like we're playing this game, but we're trying to play how we want to play the game. Yeah. We're trying to get to the king, or we're trying to get the and all of this. And I just think that is just so important. I don't want to gloss lightly over that. And so how would you, looking back over everything now that has happened, because we're coming to the last few minutes of the interview, looking back over everything that has happened, what would you tell somebody that maybe they came from a situation like yours where it was really drastic, you were in really bad situation and everything? How would you inspire them? What would you give them, or how would you encourage them to go forward?
Yes, I would. I would think it's more for a lot of people. We tend to believe that we deserve a lot of things. We deserve, but what I've found is that the deserving spirit, when you have that, you don't really get the stuff that you actually want, that you think you're supposed to have. And while I was growing up the whole time, I always was about, I deserve so much more than what's happening to me. And but after that shooting, that disappeared. And it went more towards what I'm worth versus what I deserve to have. And so when you really believe you're worth more, then you stop putting it on somebody else, or stop putting it on whatever cards you've been dealt in life. When you feel you're truly worth more, you just take those cards and be happy that you even got those. And then you start to do something with your life. And that would be my biggest, advice I could give anyone, would be, don't think you deserve, and don't self-pity, because it could always be so much worse somewhere else. Right. And you may not have tried to be here. You didn't have anything to do with being here while you're here. So you didn't have any control over that. But if you have a worthiness about you, I believe I'm worth more, your actions will start going towards that, and then you could do a lot better.
Right. One of the things I do believe, and I think people don't really stop and think about that, I do believe that the life that God gives us, I believe that he gives us there's certain things that he gives us. And it's really, if it was supposed to be easy, you wouldn't need him. It is just really simple. And he gives us this life for us to live. And I like even in listening, like reading the things that you have gone through. When I read what you have gone through, what I see in it is, I see how he knew the Lord. I'm talking about the Lord. He knew you could not really have too much of an easy life. Because if you had such an easy life, you would not have really pushed yourself 100% like you did today.
That's true.
So it's almost like you can look, do you think, and let me just ask you this question, can you look back over your life, and can you even say, even those hard places, like their stepdaddy, or like the things that your mother went through, and even just say thank you, because they have made you be the man that you are today.
Yes. Yeah. In the beginning of the book, I do a thank you piece to people, right? But I always think about this too, what you're bringing up. I think about it all the time, and it's if I could do it all over again, would it go the same way? And I think about that, and I know at the time when those things were taking place, I was pretty down and out when it was going on. Just begging, like, please, why is this happening? Right. But when I think of the day, would I want to be someone else than who I am today? The answer is no. And so I know there's a thing that I tell people all the time: you cannot become gold being silver, because gold has to go through a lot of fire to become what it is. Right? Yeah. And so when I think about it, I'm like, yes, I'm good with who I am today. Right. Would I want to go through that shooting again? Or if you put me back at that time, I'll probably whine and cry the same way I did at that time. Yeah. But at the end of it, I'm very appreciative of what I went through, because a lot of the things that pop up in my life now, they're no comparison to what I went through before. And it just makes it a lot easier for me to handle what's taking place today. Right. So what's next? What's next for Jesse? I know you got a book. You just did a second book, a book of poetry. Yes. What about motivational speaker? What's in line? What are you thinking about doing? I would like to talk more to people, because I enjoy people. I enjoy this talking with you today, and I enjoy talking to everyone. I talk to people just up and down the street. Sometimes I don't know them. I talk to them, and I do enjoy those type of things. And I really don't know what's the next thing that'll come. Normally, just comes, and then there I am and doing something different. But I know whatever it is, I know I'll be happy to do it, and it'll probably be in some type of serving people aspect. I do believe. Okay, so Carmen, did you ever marry? No, you guys didn't get married. The book just ended. And I'm like, Jesse,
Okay, you didn't tell me what's gonna happen with this. You didn't say, you didn't, nothing. And I'm like, okay, you just kind of left us high. Is there gonna be a part two?
I know there's been a lot of things that have happened since. I basically stopped it at I did stop it.
You're like, okay, I've written enough. I'm tired. I'm through. I'm like, wait,
I ended it pretty much right at when I was about 20 years old. And then I skipped to where I am today. And there's a lot of middle. And I did that just to leave it there. I don't know if I'll write any more about what happened in the middle, but I am very happy today. I am very, very happy.
So you didn't marry Carmen, or you guys didn't continue on. Okay, so are you still friends with her?
Yes.
Okay, you still friends. Okay. Did you ever get married eventually?
No.
Okay, so you're single. So you still
never tied any knots. Never did.
Okay. All right. So right now, so where you're at now, you know, you're working and just working for the company, and that's pretty much where you're at right now.
Yep. I'm right now working for the company. I have the most beautiful family a person could even ask for today, and everything is still in play to do some more work and to do some great things. But I talk to so many people. I get to meet so many people every day, and I've been all over the country. I've been all over the world. So I've been highly blessed.
Mm-hmm.
It goes in sections, you know. The first half, I thought it was the worst life anybody could ever have. Right. And the second half of my life, I've been very blessed to like go places and talk to people in different languages across the world. And some of the places I've been, I've been in China. I went to the Great Wall. Where I'm from, that would never be in the mind.
Right. He just blew your mind, really. He just took it.
Blew me away, right? So I know what walls I've seen, and the walls that I've seen from where I'm from are bars behind the walls.
Right.
And then next thing you know, I'm in China at the Great Wall, and talking to people and seeing monks and different people, and it's just an amazing thing to have that experience, you know. So I'm very happy with what has taken place.
Yeah, like I said, when I read the part when she started, really what she was doing was she was prophesying. She was kind of telling you about where you were going, what was going to happen, and I think she planted another seed in your, you know, to really kind of push forward. And so, you know, it's just really just that it's just really just awesome to see the fulfillment of that. But I am going to say we need to do a chapter. We need to do a part two. I'm sorry. We're going to have to do a part two. I don't know why, you know, just because you just left your audience hanging. It was like, okay, I'm done now, you know. So, okay, all right, Jen, we're kind of coming to the last. So, any last remarks? Anything that you want to tell? You want to tell them how you can get your books, or where they can find it, read it?
You get my books. I have both of my books are on. You can get them on Amazon.com. The Penniless Soul of Juliet Rose, and I have another one called A Violin for Your Crow, and that's the poetry book that you're referring to. And also, if you go to JesseBensonBooks.com, that's another place that you can get the books from. And that's where a lot of people have, you know, been purchasing the books. And I'm just having a good time while I put those together. I don't know which one. I know I'm gonna write something else. I don't know what it's actually gonna be, but I know I'm gonna write a third book on something. And when I figure it out, I'll put that out there, and hopefully people will be able to get something from it and enjoy it as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to come on the show. I'm finally able to get you on my show.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for doing the talk with me today. I appreciate that. And yeah. I'm glad you actually read the book and enjoyed it. And I hope everybody else can enjoy it as well.
Oh yeah. I definitely read it and enjoyed the book and everything and stuff. That's why I was like, I was starting to get kind of mad, because I was like, wait a minute, just skip that part right there. He didn't say anything. But okay, so today, guys, listen, we've been talking to Jesse Benson. vice president, and I'm not going to tell the company, but unless you want to share the company name, but he is a vice president of a multi-million-dollar company. And so just had the opportunity to sit him down and talk to him in the midst of his busy schedule, in the midst of a coronavirus and pandemic. I was finally able to get him on my show. Jesse, thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate this. And so guys, always, this is Judah Sword Talk Show. I'm Lady SJ, and as always, be inspired to do great things. Jesse, bless you, bless you.
Oh, thank you very
talk
much.
Again soon, okay?
Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
La 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 la.